Okay, so hello everyone. So for today, we're going to talk about the basic ingredients in baking. So first, we're going to talk about the different types of flour, oils, leavening agents, and sugar. First, we're going to talk about flour. So flour is usually the main ingredient among all other ingredients. So flour is usually from wheat, either from rice, wheat, and also corn. So first, we're going to talk about the wheat flour. So wheat flour is also called as graham or the entire wheat. So yung buong bunga ng wheat is ginaground. So hindi inaalis yung parang balat niya na color brown. As you can see, the color of the wheat flour is a little bit in the brown side. Okay? So next is we have the bread flour. So it's a little bit brownish, more lighter than the wheat flour, and it contains about 12 to 14% gluten. So the gluten helps the dough to be more elastic, or mas nai-stretch siya and medyo mas matigas siya. Then next is we have the all-purpose flour, or is it also called as a general flour or pastry flour. So the gluten content of an all-purpose flour is 10 to 11%. As you can see, mas maputi siya sa bread flour. So ang pinaka brown na color is the wheat, next is the bread and all-purpose, and the last flour is the cake flour. Okay? As you can see, mas puting-puti na siya than the all-purpose flour because it contains 7 to 9% of gluten and it is a soft flour. So ito yung kaya siya cake, di ba yung mga cake malambot na malambot yun? So they are using the cake flour to be able to achieve a softer bread. So, and next we have another type of flour which is almond flour. So this almond flour is a non-wheat flour. So it is a other form of flour because the almond flour came from almond nuts. So, what are the other types of flour? We have enriched flour, self-rising, and quick-mixing flour. So, what are the difference of those types of flour? Or other forms of flour aside from this non-wheat flour, which is almond flour because it is made of almond. Other type of flour is enriched flour. So, meaning of enriched. So, nilagyan siya ng added nutrients yung flour na hindi talaga nakikita sa flour. For example, iron-enriched flour. So, the flour contains iron. So, may additional nutrients siyang nilalagay. Other forms of flour, we have self-rising flour, which is usually contains sodium bicarbonate or baking soda or baking powder. And the last kind or other forms of flour is quick mixing flour. So quick mixing flour is quick mixing flour is a regular flour that is nilalagyan siya ng moisture or ng water, then it is re-dry. Para saan yon? Para mas mabilis mahalo and naiiwasan yung lumps sa flour. So that is all about flour. So next is we're going to talk about sugar. So there are different types of sugar. So etong tatlo na to are the basic types of sugar. Pero meron pa tayong mga ibang sugar like muscovado sugar and cocoa sugar. Cocoa sugar came from coconut. So ginagamit siya usually sa baking, and it is diabetic friendly because it has low glycemic index, or yung glucose content niya mas konti, yung nakakapagpataas ng blood sugar. So, etong tatlo na to, yung mga basic flours na meron tayo. This one is the brown sugar. Okay. So, usually, ang brown sugar came from tubo or sugar cane. So, etong white sugar din. So, this one is unpolished. So, mas mabilis yung process niya kasi pag pinakuluan yung tubo, usually ito na agad nang lumalabas yung brown hanggang paputi. Kaya tinatawag dito sa white sugar is refined sugar. So, we have the brown. Yung lighter than brown sugar is called light brown sugar or yung tinatawag sa Tagalog na segunda. And we have the refined sugar or white sugar. So, etong white sugar, pag mas pino, either the brown sugar or the white sugar, mas pino, ang tinatawag doon is caster sugar. Mas pino siya, almost close to powder. Pero hindi siya talagang powder na powder, may mga granules pa rin siya. Para saan ginagamit yung caster sugar? Usually, it is used for icing para mas madaling ma-dissolve. And last sugar that we have is this one. We have the confectioner sugar or it is called the powdered sugar. So, the content of this is a well-milled sugar or pinong sugar na parang powder plus cornstarch. Ito usually, cornstarch ang nagsa-stabilize ng mga icings para hindi siya bumagsak. So, kaya may added cornstarch ang powdered sugar or confectioner's sugar. So, next is we have the leavening agents or nakakapagpabuhay or nakakapagpaalsa sa ating tinapay or sa ating cake. So, we have the yeast. So, this yeast, may mga variety pa rin ng yeast. We have the dry yeast. This one is a dry yeast. We have the instant yeast. Instant yeast, hindi na kailangan i-bloom yung yeast or nilalagyan ng lukewarm water o maligamgam na tubig at sugar. And dry active yeast. Dry active yeast, usually yun yung binubloom. While the instant yeast, hindi na siya kailangan i-bloom or yung pinapabula pa natin using lukewarm water and sugar. So, usually yeast is made of plants. While the baking powder is made of chemicals. It is also a leavening agent. So, another type of sweetener that we know is the panucha or yung parang nakalagay siya sa baon ng nyog. It is also used as a sweetener and we also have molasses. So, molasses is a liquid, sweet liquid, para siyang sugar. It is unrefined and very thick in consistency. Next, we have fats and oil. So, first we have the butter or mantikilya in Tagalog. Butter is made from ripened cream of milk. So, it contains about 80% of butter fat. Then next, we have another type of butter which is called, this one is the butter compound. So, butter compound is made by mixing 40% of melted fat with the rest coming from vegetable oil. So, pag sinabing butter compound or butter compounds, so it contains 2 or more ingredients. So, etong butter, yung talagang butter or the mantikilya, it contains 100% butter. It came from animal or butter fat. While the butter compound is a mixture of butter and oil, more specifically vegetable oil. And lastly, we have parang butter din siya and it is called the margarine or sa Tagalog, ang alam natin, margarine. Or the popular brand of a margarine is yung dairy cream. So, dairy cream is not a butter, it's a margarine. So, it is a emulsified fat with cultured milk. It contains about 80% of fat and about 16% of water. So, yun ang mga components ng margarine. So, ano yung mga popular brands na meron tayo? Yung Dairy Cream, Buttercup, with the margarine. Then, we have the hydrogenated And next, we have hydrogenated fat or a shortening. So, as you can see, solid siya and made of emulsified vegetable oil or yung iba coconut oil, yung iba corn, soya, and cotton seed oil. So, yan, emulsified oil siya. So, as you can see, namuo, buo na siya. And, kaya tinawag na hydrogenated, yung process niya, may ginagamit na specific gas or hydrogen to make it or to have an emulsifying effect. What other fats pa ang ginagamit natin? We have the hog fat or lard fat or taba ng karne. Okay, pag sinabing lard or hog fat, taba yun ng baboy or yung iba tinatawag na beef tallow, taba ng baka. So, usually ginagamit nyo sa hopyang baboy. So, usually they use animal fat or animal lard. So, parang ganito lang din ang itsura nun, kaya lang mas yellowish in color. And lastly, we don't have an example kasi alam naman natin ang mantika or oil. So, usually, ang ginagamit in baking is vegetable oil kasi neutral ang taste niya. So, vegetable oil came from vegetables. So, it doesn't contribute much to the volume and texture. So, very neutral ang effect na vegetable oil. Okay, so next we have the liquid or it gives moisture to our baked product. So, ano yung mga liquid na usually ginagamit natin? Widely used water. So, usually, water ginagamit natin to hydrate our baked products. And also, we use milk, either fresh milk, non-fat milk, skimmed milk, soy milk, almond milk, and so on and so forth. What else we can use? Fruit juices. So, yung mga orange juice, apple juice, cranberry juice, and so on and so forth. It gives moisture to our baked product, the liquids. Okay, so lastly, we have eggs. So, eggs are used in baking products as leavening agent, as emulsifying agent. It gives flavor and texture to our baked products. And lastly, we have colorings, herbs, spices, and flavoring. So, we have different types of flavoring. So, we have the artificial and natural flavorings. For example, this is an artificial flavoring which is ube extract. So, it gives ube flavor to our baked goods. So, we also have orange flavor. So, it is an artificial flavoring. It came from orange, the extract of an orange. We can also use fruit juices as natural flavorings for our baked products. What else? We have almond extract. We have this one, peppermint extract. We have vanilla extracts. Okay, so there are different flavorings that we can use, artificial or natural flavorings. We have artificial pandan extract, butter extract, we have walnut extract, we have apple extract, cranberry, blueberry, and any other flavorings that you can think of. And next we have the colorings. So, we have natural and artificial coloring. So, what are the natural colorings? For example, it may came from the extract or the juices of a specific fruit or vegetable, such as you may give a orange color to your baked goods by using carrots. You may give a red color to your baked goods by using beetroot or strawberries. While you can also use artificial colorings for your baked goods, such as we have plenty of or we have the different varieties of colors such as blue, orange, violet, red, green, and madaming colors na pwede nating pagpilian. And also, we have yung mga colorings and it gives accents, yung mga parang dust, gold dust. We have the blue dusts or parang mga glitters. What other herbs and spices that are widely used in baking? Syempre, salt. So, it gives a little bit of salty taste to our baked products, and also, ine-elevate niya yung sweetness pag naglalagay tayo ng konting salt. So, usually, when baking, pag naglalagay tayo ng sugar, put a little amount of salt to give a distinct taste to the sweetness of the baked products. And also, we can also use pepper to our breads. What else? Fresh or dried basil, tarragon, oregano, and other herbs. Those are our basic ingredients in baking. So we have the flour, different types of flour. We have the wheat, the bread flour, all-purpose flour, cake flour, non-wheat flour is almond flour. We have leavening agents such as baking powder, yeast. We have different types of sugar: brown, light brown, white sugar, castor sugar, powdered sugar, and also we can use panucha, molasses, or sugar cubes, or artificial sweeteners, such as yung known brand is yung Equal. And we may use stevia as natural sweetener that is low in glycemic index. And also honey is also a sweetener, molasses. And next we have the fat. So we have the butter, butter compound, margarine, shortenings, large vegetable oils. We have the liquid ingredients, which is fresh milk and also water, and fruit juices or vegetable juices. We have eggs that acts as emulsifying, leavening, and flavoring to our baked products. And syempre sa icing, gumagamit tayo ng white ng eggs. Yung yolk usually ginagamit for the custards. And we have the salt. So salt elevates the taste of the sweetness of the baked products. We have herbs and spices such as pepper, tarragon, basil, oregano, and so on and so forth. Then we have the flavorings, artificial or natural flavorings. So meron tayong mga vanilla extract. So yung vanilla, madalas natin ginagamit to sa ating baked products. We have the orange extract, almond, walnut, raspberry, blueberry extract, strawberry extract, and lastly, we have the colorings or pangkulay sa ating baked product. So those are the basic ingredients in baking or in bread and pastry.